Yeah. I don't even know how to fucking start this. I guess this is the beginning. There's so much. I don't even know where to start. I've never really told my story to anybody or anyone. I never talked to any news stations or anything like that. I never did any interviews just because I wasn't in a place where I could, like mentally. And the reason I've decided to do one now is not just because of the TikTok that blew up but I feel like I'm in a place where I can talk about it now without it impacting me in a negative manner, if that makes any sense. So I was 14 at the time. I was in my freshman year. I was going to a private school and I was a cheerleader. I had a really good cheer team. They're really supportive. They're crazy. So this happened in October and I had a pretty good relationship with my parents and my family. We did have a foreign exchange student that was living with us at the time. My family decided to take a vacation. I grew up in a pretty, like a family that traveled a lot. We were always on the go, always on the move, always going to different places. My dad owned a few planes, and so it was easy for us to travel. And he had just got a new plane, and he had flown it out to Wyoming, and we were gonna go out to stay with him. So we went out with one of my dad's friends. He came and picked us up from Oklahoma City and flew us out there with our exchange student. They wanted to fly up in the new plane that we had got. Whenever we got there, we decided that we wanted to go out flying. They had another little chick plane that they were also flying. And I told everyone, I was like, I call going with dad, like I call going with dad. I went with my dad and our exchange student went with the other guy that we were out there with. And we went up. And it was just like a normal flight, like we took off and then the other plane, they were doing loops and stuff like that, but our plane wasn't built for that, so we weren't doing any of that. So me and my dad were just kind of flying around. He was like getting lower to the ground and stuff like that, and just kind of messing around. Like it was all normal stuff. And my dad was going really aggressive with like the turns around like the mountains and stuff like that. Like that's the only thing I can like point out that would be weird or anything like that. It was a pretty normal flight, and they were out flying in a field and we were coming over a mountain. As soon as we crested this mountain, I heard a lot of beeping. The plane like just went down. I don't remember anything past that point. I remember beeping and I remember looking in the mirror at my dad and his eyes, and I looked in his face, and like there was obvious like fear and stuff like that. But I don't remember anything past that. And then the next thing that I remember is I was crawling back to the plane. I mean, I do remember like, not vividly, but faintly, I remember like trying to attempt to do CPR. I'm not sure how many times, but faintly I remember attempting it. And I guess like my attempts failed in a way. I don't know. I mean, the guy who was also flying with us, he stayed and just flied over. He saw it all happen and he just stayed and flied over and just kept buzzing into the towers trying to get a hold of people. But our plane was setting off so many signals just from like the crash and like the black box going off and everything that he wasn't getting through to anyone. So I crawled back to the plane, and this is what I remember. It's like I remember like crawling back to the plane, and it wasn't like a death crawl, but like I was definitely like crawling. Like I remember crawling, and I went to go look for my phone and I couldn't find my phone, but I knew that my dad had put his phone in his front left pocket because he always put his phone there, like no matter what. I had to take my dad's phone out of his pocket and as soon as I got my dad's phone, I walked away from the plane like immediately. Like I don't really vividly remember this, but like I know like I did this. Like I went in, I took it, and I sat in between. There was a tree on this side of me, on the right side of me, and there was a bush on the left side. And I sat down on this rock in between, and I tried to call my mom. I tried putting my mom's number like 4 different times, and I like tried to call her, and it wasn't going through because there wasn't really any service, and I was on the emergency like phone, and you can only call 911 on there. And so after I tried my mom's phone a few times, I finally called 911 and tried to get through to 911. And the 911 call is actually online, so if you guys want to listen to that, you can listen to that. I've listened to it, and it's real. I mean, like, you can hear the pain and the hurt and everything like that. It's real, it's hurtful, but I mean, it is what it is in a way. But after that, after I called 911, I don't really remember much. I remember being on the phone with them, and then they asked me, they were like, do you see a plane flying above? And I saw them like circling above, and I said yeah. And then I saw a helicopter come in, and it's all really spotty at this point. Like it's really spotty. I don't remember like exactly like everything, but I remember the helicopter coming in and them landing and medics coming out. And I was looking at the medics, and I was like, help my dad, like help my dad, like my dad needs help, like help my dad, like help my dad, like I'm okay, help my dad. And they just came over to me. They wouldn't even go over to my dad, and I was just like, I was yelling at them at this point. I was like, go help my dad. I was like, my dad needs help. And I was just screaming, and I saw like one guy walk over, and then just like everything went black. Like I'm pretty sure they sedated me. And the next thing I know, I woke up like in the helicopter, and I was like still kind of groggy. Like this is a little fuzzy. Like this is just like a little fuzzy memory I remember. It's like in the helicopter, and they looked at me and they were like, it's okay, like you're okay. And they like just like sedated me again, I guess. And I remember they took me out of the helicopter, and I'm not really sure if this happened or not, but I'm 99% sure, but I'm pretty sure one of the medics like tripped, and like one side of the stretcher like dropped, and I'm not really sure, but if it did and you see this, it's okay. I think it's funny. I laugh about it now, so like it's okay, and I'm not really even sure if it happened. But they took me in, and I had to get stitches on my chin and my thumb. I had cut my thumb like almost completely off, so I had to get stitches on my thumb. And then they x-rayed my wrist, and later on we went to like doctors and stuff like that, and just figured out that I just fractured a part of my growth plate off, but it's okay, like nothing's wrong with that. So I had to wear a cast for 2 weeks because of that. But after everything happened, they had to hide me in the hospital. They hid me in the baby's ward, the mother's ward, because so many news reporters were trying to get in to interview me and talk to me and stuff like that. And my mom was just like, no, like it's not gonna happen. And so they drugged me and put me back on a plane, and we went back home to Oklahoma. And I don't know, I just like I went on with my life in a sense. Like I grieved and everything like that, but I mean, I went back to school pretty soon. I wanted to get back in the routine of things. Like I wanted things to be normal. It felt so weird just sitting at home. So I went back to school like a week after everything happened, just because I wanted back to be in the routine of things. Like it felt weird. So I went back to school, and it was good. It was nice. Everybody was really, really nice about it. Nothing weird like happened. Like it was like I just asked everybody to treat it like it's okay, like nothing's wrong with me or anything like that. So I finished my freshman year, and my freshman year was really good. Like everything was okay, and I ended up going to Nicaragua the summer between my freshman and sophomore year. And a lot of people ask me this, they're like, have you gotten on a plane since? Yes, yes I have. I grew up on planes. I'm not really afraid of planes themselves. It's just like whenever I'm up in the air, I get really bad anxiety and kind of freak out and don't really know what to do. But like the plane itself doesn't really freak me out. Airports don't really freak me out. I don't know, like I grew up around planes. I grew up flying. Like I grew up on planes all the time. Like I'm pretty sure I have more hours than a typical commercial pilot. Like I'm not kidding. But yes, I do take medication whenever I get on planes. It is prescribed and it is all taken safely. I don't like overdo it or anything like that. Like it strictly is just for like my anxiety to get on the plane and stuff like that, so I don't have panic attacks. But after all of that happened, whenever I was 15, I got myself into a little bit of trouble, and then I turned 16, got myself into a little bit more trouble, and then my mom decided to send me to Anasazi, which is an outdoor like rehabilitation program, kind of. So I spent 2.5 months out there, and I met a bunch of really cool girls. I have a lot of stories, and if you want to hear about Anasazi, I could do a whole story on that, because that was a whole wow, just wow. Like that's all I have to say. It's just like it was intense. I almost died a few times out there, and I broke the record for how many times somebody had to go to the hospital, if that says anything. But so I did that, and then I came back, and then switched schools a few times, went up and lived in North Carolina, came back, went to public school here, and then decided to do my senior year online. So I did my whole senior year online and finished early, so I worked. And then I took a few classes last year, I guess, at a college locally. And now I'm here, and it's intense, and it's a lot, and a lot of people ask me a lot of different questions on it, and I don't really know, like, how to even like answer some of these questions. All I can I don't know, a lot of the news stations got the stories wrong. They over exaggerated stuff and lied about a bunch of stuff and tried to say that there were other people on the plane and I did all this amazing stuff. It's mind-boggling to think about, because I don't really remember a lot of it. I only remember some of it. So I don't know how to even explain everything. I don't even know where to begin, where to end. I mean, it's a continuous story. It's a continuous journey. And it's definitely shaped me into the person I am today. And a lot of people ask me if I regret what happened. And in all honesty, no, I don't, because it gave me the knowledge I have today, and it made me the person I am today, and it made me stronger, and it made me realize a lot of things, and it made me learn a lot about myself and about my community and about the way I think and the way I work and how I need to go through my life and such. So I am definitely very sad about what happened, and I'm very sad about the way things played out in my life, but I'm very grateful for the knowledge that I have and the things that I've learned from that, because I would be in a completely different place if the things that have happened to me didn't happen to me. And I mean, I could go on and on about all the things that have happened to me and how I've dealt with them and my trauma and everything like that, but I mean, I guess the biggest thing I have to say is you are so in control of your own life that you choose your own happiness, and you choose how you feel, like essentially. Like nobody else can control your feelings. Like nobody else can come up to you and just be like, you're sad or you're mad. Like that's something you decide internally. And that's something I really had to realize, like, and learn and grasp through all of this, is like, I'm in control of my own feelings, and like I'm in control of my life and how it plays out, and I can't let other people or other things or past things dictate how my future plays out, because if I do that, it's just gonna be like bad, it's bad. So yeah, that's pretty much part of my life. Part of my life I haven't talked about at all in a very long time. But there's my shit show of a story, so I don't really know. I mean, I guess if you want me to make more videos, I will. I don't know. Okay, but anyways, that's my life for you. That's my drama.